Hey everybody, it's the dude here to bring you another video. It is a new year and we are less than a week away from the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead. So let's dive into my breakdown of the episode 9 trailer, as well as my predictions for the second half of season 7. Alright, episode 9 is called Rockin' the Road. Now that phrase usually refers to a situation in which everything is going smoothly, and then one little tiny thing goes wrong and everything goes crazy. So in this episode I think we can anticipate something like that happening. Maybe one of the group is going to flip sides, maybe they already have flipped sides. Maybe Negan gets back, sees that Daryl is gone, and goes on a rampage to find him. And maybe when he does go looking for him, he finds Maggie, who's supposed to be dead. I think that's what the whole next half of the season is really going to be about. Rick making these plans, and things are just going to keep going wrong. So there are two trailers for episode 9. They are both very similar, but in certain points they have different shots. Trailer 1, we'll call it, opens in Alexandria. We see Rick, Carl, Tara, Michonne, and my personal favorite character of all time, Tobin, staring out the Alexandria gate as a few of Negan's trucks come through, and we specifically see a motorcycle riding in. That's most likely Dwight. What this tells us is that Rick has made his way back to Alexandria. But the last time we saw him and the gang, they were at the hilltop. Now, the episode description for episode 9 says that Jesus is going to lead Rick's group to the kingdom to meet Ezekiel. So assuming that they head to the kingdom straight from the hilltop, the scene must take place at a later time. At the end of episode 8, Negan just got a shipment from Rick's group, so this is no doubt the next one. So I don't think this is going to be from the first episode of this half season. Then we see the hilltop, with Rick's group walking in tandem now away from the Barrington house. This is definitely happening at the beginning of this next episode. I guess they're done planning inside and have decided to walk and talk. Over these shots we hear Rick's voice. He's saying, Alexandria, the hilltop, and the kingdom. When he gets to the kingdom in each trailer, they show us something different. In trailer 1, we see Richard and another one of the kingdom's knights. In trailer 2, however, we see a much more revealing shot. It's from behind Ezekiel, at the kingdom looking at Rick's group. They're outside, we see a school bus in the back, and everybody's there. And they're all wearing the same stuff they were wearing at the hilltop. So I would definitely have to say that they don't go back to Alexandria before going to the kingdom. In both trailers, we see Ezekiel's face. Inside now, in his auditorium, Rick continues on, who we then see standing in the aisles talking to Ezekiel. Our communities have something in common. We all serve the Savior. Next we get the briefest of shots of Rick and Michonne out in the world, but this time Aaron is behind them. This tells me that this takes place after they've come back to Alexandria. As most of you should know, they left a wounded and beaten up Aaron at Alexandria when they all went to the hilltop. Now I assume that the real reason Aaron was left behind was because of the now famous Boots person. The Boots person that followed Rick and Aaron back from the boathouse in episode 8. Assuming that this is a person we've never met before, there would have to be someone at Alexandria to intercept them and interact with them, someone that they had seen before. Seeing as how Rick and Aaron are the only two Alexandrians they've met, Aaron would have to be the one. So possibly the Boots person is a member of another group, and Aaron works some kind of deal out with them. And then, once Rick has made a deal with Ezekiel, he goes back and finds out that there's this other group that wants to help them. This could be a scene from an episode where Rick and the gang with Aaron are heading out following this person, finding this new location and this new group of people. The next shot is again different in both trailers. In trailer 1, it looks to be the place we saw in episode 2, where the kingdom gives supplies to the saviors. We see the two main saviors that we saw last time, the one who was a little more reasonable and the one who got in a fight with Richard. In trailer 2, however, this shot is replaced with a shot of Dwight from behind in the sanctuary running down a hallway. It's quite possible that he just discovered that Daryl is missing. He was the one put in charge of Daryl, and now Fat Joey's dead and Daryl's gone. So I can imagine that Negan is going to have quite a few words to say to Dwight when he gets back. The next few shots are all the same in both trailers. We first see Benjamin, the kid from the kingdom that Morgan has been developing a relationship with, in the woods with a gun. So it seems like we're going to get much more of the kingdom this half season, which is something that I'm super excited about. We only got episode 2 of this season with all of them, and I want more Benjamin and Ezekiel, and more than anything, Carol and Morgan. Then we see another very brief shot of Carl quickly getting into a car that's being surrounded by zombies. I'm usually never worried about the fate of Carl, so I'm super excited to see how he gets out of this situation. Next we see Simon, my actual new favorite character, looking like he just got back into his car and he's patting the side of it to have him go off. Usually we see Simon with the hilltop, but I think I saw a picture of him at Alexandria, so I wouldn't be surprised if the shot we saw at the beginning of the trailer is Simon's group of people coming to check on Alexandria. Next we see a shot of Rick driving a blue car at full speed. He looks out the window really seriously. This is the same car that we saw so long ago in the original Comic-Con trailer for Season 7. The trailer that was released during the summer. That trailer involved 2 scenes that we actually didn't even see in the entirety of the last half of the season. There was very brief shots of someone in a blue car, who has now been confirmed to be Rick, getting in a car accident, having a run-in with some saviors. We even saw Dwight and a Rot coming out of a car shooting a gun. It's amazing to me that they showed us this so long ago for it to be in this half of the season. I can't believe it was even filmed back then, so most likely it takes place in this first episode, which gets me really pumped. In trailer 1, after the Rick car shot, we see more of this new scene at the Kingdom supply drop. Richard and the douchey savior from before have now pulled a gun on each other. It seems like this scene is going to get very heated. We see Ezekiel, his steward Jerry, Morgan is there once again, and unlike the first time, Benjamin has been brought along. Next up is another shot that's only in trailer 1. It's one of Daryl beating somebody brutally in the face. The person is a man, he has short, dark hair, and behind Daryl is a big van. I couldn't really spot where this comes from, but it's most likely a savior he's punching. In this point in trailer 1, they start flashing the word rise, cutting it quickly with a shot of Rick, sweaty, surrounded by zombies, turning around. This is most likely within the same scene of Carl getting into the car quickly with those zombies. That cuts out and it says, up. Rise up. This is the slogan for the second half of Season 7, and it comes with a really stellar poster of all of the characters. Well, not all of the characters. A lot of the spare Alexandrians aren't there, but the most notable is probably Enid. She was in the character walkathon at the end of episode 8, so did they just not have room for her? They doubled up on a couple of the character spots. They could have put Enid with Carl. Maybe something happens to Enid, or maybe like everybody's been fantasizing for years, she's a spy and they find out and kill her. I doubt that's what's going to happen, but it is interesting that she didn't make the poster. Then we see Rick and Ezekiel talking once again. He says, "Join us in fighting them." And the very last shot of trailer 1 is of Rick, sweaty once again. There's a bunch of things out of focus in the background, but what comes into focus is a zombie, filled with spikes, and a helmet with spikes as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is some kind of defense mechanism at the location of the Boots person's new group. I heard a little bit of a rumor that the new group was going to be stationed at some kind of junkyard or scrapyard, and it makes sense that a spiky metal zombie is the type of thing that that sort of group would think of to deter people. Both trailers are great and tell me a lot of information. A couple of the things I'm looking forward to the most in the next half of the season is the Daryl story. I'm just as excited to see Negan's reaction to Daryl having escaped. Another one of my favorite things from last season was the fact that Gabriel lied to Negan about Maggie being dead. So you can almost guarantee that in this next season that will be discovered, and I hope that the payoff is really great. Another big interesting thing that we saw none of in this trailer is what happened to Eugene. Wanting to start a war is all well and good, but as far as we know, none of the groups have ammunition. All of Ezekiel's people use swords and dress like knights. We know that the hilltop is out of shit, and Alexandria just lost their bullet maker. Negan already has a bunch of guns, and he's going to try to coerce Eugene into making bullets. Will that work? I think that in the last half of the season, if Negan didn't get what he wanted out of Daryl, that he most likely will get at least a little bit of what he wants out of Eugene. Eugene might start making bullets, and then something else goes wrong. However much I want Eugene to be really strong and not do what Negan wants, I think that kind of has to happen. Alright everybody, I am super excited for the next half of this season, and you should be too. Go back and check out my reviews for every episode of this last half of the season, and come back to check out my reviews for the next half. I made a death predictions video at the beginning of the season that is totally still applicable. I call it the Morgan Theory, and it, along with all of my reviews, are down in the description. Please remember to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and watch it again. This has been The Dude. See ya.